Howdy lovely subscribers, it's been ages, soz, but I'm back and ready for business. We're going to be looking at Cemetery Gates by Pantera today. A delightful, lovely ballad. Let's take a look. So, much the same as Cowboys from Hell, not quite standard, not quite E flat, we're somewhere in the middle. So do the best you can, guys. Have a listen to the album and then just go from standard tuning and just get yourself a smidge flat. Hope that works out for you. Okay, let's take a look at the first section. I'm going to start off with a pull off from 3 to 2 on the second string. I do a hammer from 3 to 5 after that. So going pull off, hammer, and then I do a slide from 5 to 7 on the second, and then I pull off back to that 5th fret. So sliding from 5 to 7, pulling off to the 5th fret. Thus far. Okay, then from that pull off, after that slide I've done pull off to the 5, I slide back to 3, and then at the end of that I want to hit the 2nd fret, sort of go. Thus far the whole thing. Hopefully that's making sense, and then I go. So what I've got here is I'm playing 2 of the 2nd string and 5 of the 1st, and I do that twice. And then I go back to 4 of the 1st string, and I'll just sort of sustain that as a chord. If you've got a whammy, some light vibrato does help here. If you don't have a whammy like me and you're lame, just give it a little shake. I do roughly the same idea. I slide in from 2 to 5 on the 2nd string, and then I'm playing 9 of the 1st string, and I want to do that kind of idea twice. So I slide in, and I play 5 of the 2nd, 9 of the 1st, 5 of the 2nd, 9 of the 1st. And once again, a smidge of vibrato. So let's have a look at what we've got thus far. Okay, then we're moving to the next part. A bit of chromatic action there. So what I do here is I slide in from nowhere really specific. I'm going to 9 of the 3rd string and then playing 12 of the 1st. And then I jump down to 9 of the 2nd and then play 10 of the 1st. So I'll do that nice and slow. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. So what I do here now is I play 9 of the 1st string, 12 of the 2nd, 9 of the 1st string, 10 of the 2nd. One more time, a little slower. Okay, and the last bit's chromatic. So what I've got here is just working my way back from 10 to 6 on the 2nd string. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. And then from 5, I work a quick chromatic forward. And give it a gentlemanly vibrato when I get there. So that's going 5, 6, 7 at the end. So that's the whole first section. Let's try it again a little slower. Okay, let's take a look at the second section. I'm starting from 7 of the 1st string and 7 of the 2nd. So I'll do just single notes on each. And the second time I do that idea, I play 7 of the 1st and then a bend on 7 of the 2nd. Okay, and then I want to repeat that bend idea one more time. So we're going to play the 1st string, the 2nd is a normal note, the 1st string, 2nd is a bend, and then again the 1st string, the 2nd is a bend. So thus far, this is what we should have. And at the end of the second bend, I want to pluck it one more time. What we're actually doing is bending it from, I guess, what would sound like 7 to 9 on the second string. So it's a full tone bend. We want to get an extra semitone there. So we want to get 7 to, I guess, sound like 10th fret. So it'll go. It's getting that slight extra bend. When I bring that tone and a half bend down, I want to go back to 5th fret of the second string and just give that a bit of vibrato. So thus far, this is what we should have. Back to 5. Okay, then we work into this. Let's slow this down. So I'm sliding in to 9 of the third and then hammering to 11. And then I work into this. This is just going straight forward from the second string. So I'm playing 9, 10, 12 on the second string. Okay, and then when I get to the first string, let's do this a little bit slower. I'm playing 9, 10, 12, and then reversing 10, 9. So this is all legato, all in one pick. And at the end of that, I want to hammer back to the 12 and then pull off to the 9. So it's going to go 9, 10, 12, 10, 9, and hammer to the 12 and then back to the 9 again. So nice and slow. Okay, and then what I do from there is I slide in from 12 to 14, and then we're going to use that kind of rough idea that we had with the pull-offs from here. So I'm going to go, so I'm sliding into 14 and going 14, 12, 10, hammering back to the 14 and then pulling off to the 10. So from the hammer on a bit, I do exactly the same thing 2 frets up. I slide from 14 to 16, then I pull off 14, 12, then hammer from 12 to 16, and then pull off to the 12. Alright, let's go from this fast bit one more time. And then following the diatonic idea, we do that again. We slide from 16 to 17, then I pull off 17, 16 to 14 on the first, then I hammer back to the 17 and pull off to the 14. So I'll do that last chunk nice and slow. Okay, now once again from the start of that. Okay, then I work into this. So what I'm doing here is I'm sliding from 17 to 21 and then pulling off back to the 17. And then I play 19 of the second, 17 of the first, and then 19 of the second again. One more time. Okay, then I work into this mini arpeggio. So what I've got here is a pull off from 19 to 16 on the first string, then I hit the 16 again, and then play 17 in the second. We've got some chromatic stuff and a bit of bendy stuff after that, but let's try and put the whole thing together thus far. Hopefully that's all making sense, and then we're going through a pretty simple chromatic idea. I want to start from 12 of the 6th string, and I'm going to go 12, 13, 14, 15, picking all the notes, and then I go from 11, 12, 13, 14 on the 5th string, and I bring my pointer finger over to 13th fret of the same string, and then do 4 chromatic notes there, which will go 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay, and then I bring that exact shape down a string 13, 14, 15, 16 on the 4th. Okay. A bit of muting makes it sound a little bit more aggressive. Obviously when you've got more distortion, you're not teaching it, it'll sound a lot cooler, and just with those mutes as well. At the end of that, I do sort of 3 kind of angry bends. I'm playing the 2nd and the 3rd string together on 14. And just sort of got a flat finger there and shaking that and bending it and keeping it nice and rocky and sassy. So let's try the whole section nice and slow. Okay, let's take a look at the 3rd section. We're sort of working in an F sharp minor pentatonic idea between 14 and 17. I want to start off with a big bend on 16 of the 3rd string. This is a classic kind of rock motif, if you will. I'm doing a bend on 16 of the 3rd string and a flat finger across 14 of the 2nd and 14 of the 1st. Then after that, I've got to pull off from 17 to 14 on the 2nd string. I want to do that exact same idea 4 times. At the end of that, I go to this. So all I've got there is a slight bend on 17 of the 2nd, 14 of the 1st, and I want to do that twice in a row. And then for, I guess, the 3rd bend, I'm just going to bend it without that pointer finger. So I go bend, pointer, bend, pointer, bend. So thus far, we've got the same idea twice, and then that bending pointer finger idea at the end. So all together. Hopefully that's making sense, and then we go to this. Let's slow this down. I've got a really, really silly stretch here, so do the best you can, guys. Don't do this on a Les Paul, you'll probably have a really bad time. I've got to pull off from 21 to 14, and then my ring finger goes to 19 of the 2nd, so I go... I'll do that exact same idea twice. Pull off 21 to 14, 19 of the 2nd string twice, and then I do one more pull off from the 21 to the 14. Okay, then after that I go into this. So what I've got here is I play 20 twice and pull off to the 14. I do that twice, and then the last time I've just got the 2 notes, which was 20 to 14 is a pull off. So I go. So all together. Okay, then we're working to this. It's the same thing twice. And I've got a slight vibrato at the end. So what I'm doing here is a pull off from 19, 17 to 14 on the 1st string. And I go to 19 at the 2nd. And then back down to 14 at the 1st. So I'll go. And we do that exact same idea twice. I think Dime gets because he's playing quite aggressively, there's a slight bend at the start. If that kind of makes sense, just a slight bend will get that kind of a bit more of a rocky, grosser sound. Okay, and at the end of that, I vibrato that 19 of the 2nd string. So the same idea twice. And then we're ending with that vibrato on the 19 of the 2nd string. Okay, let's take it from the start of the section nice and slow. Okay, let's take a look at the last section. I want to start from 17 of the 2nd string and sort of work into this little legato idea. And it's up to you whether you want to do a quick alternate pick or just sort of sweep through. You sort of work through that. So what I'm doing at the start is 17 of the 2nd string, and then I'm rolling 14, 16, 17 on the 1st, and then I work it backwards from 16 back to 14. And the next group I do is a little bit less diatonic and a little bit more pentatonic. I play 17 of the 2nd again, but then I want to play 14, 17, 19, 17, 14 is that quick legato. So thus far. Okay, and then I go into this. Let's slow that down. I'm playing 17 of the 2nd, then I do a hammer on from 14 to 17, pull off to 14, hammer to 17, and then pull off back to the 14. So we want to hit that 17th fret twice. Okay, then from there I hit 17 of the 2nd, and then play 14 of the 1st. Okay, and then I've got 2 pull-offs from 17 to 14. So I go 17, 14, hammer back to the 17, and then pull off back to the 14. So all together thus far. So I'll go right from the top. After I've done that double pull off, I want to jump to 17 of the 2nd, 17 of the 3rd, and then back down to 14 of the 2nd string. So to go. So it's a very similar idea twice. All together from the start again, one more time. Okay, and then from there, from that pointer finger that we just hit, I'm going to hammer from 14 to 15, and then do a hammer into a pull off twice. So I go. Then after I've done that second pull off from the 15 to 14 on the 2nd string, I want to jump to 17 of the 3rd, and then back down to 14 of the 2nd string. So I go. Then I go into this last little chunk. So let's slow this down. So we've got going from 17 of the third string now. I'm playing 17, 16, 14 as a pull off. Then I hammer back into 16 and pull off to 14. Okay, and then from there I jump to 16 of the fourth. Sort of go. And at the end of that I play 14 of the third string and then back to 16 of the fourth. So nice and slow. And I'll do the whole thing from the start a little bit slower. Hopefully that's making sense. And then I just worked through this idea chromatically. I think there's 3 triplets or sort of 9 groups of this idea. So I'm playing a hammer on 14, 17, 14. And then with a bit of vibrato or whammy or whatever you want to do to work that back. And we'll just work through that. A little bit more distortion will help and it'll sound a lot cooler. But I'm just working through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3. So sort of 3 triplets. Then after that, if you don't have whammy like me in your lane, there's a really nice squeal on 4th fret of the 3rd string. I can get it most of the time, it sounds pretty cool. But if you can get that dive bomb squeal idea just from the 4th fret of the 3rd. You can sort of do that thing that Dime does where you pull it off and then hammer on your harmonic and catch it on the way up and do that, but that's the general idea. So let's try this whole last section and I'll do my cheap little harmonic thing at the end. So let's do it nice and slow. And that's the Symmetry Gate solo. I hope you guys have enjoyed that. Catch you real soon.